Hello and welcome to the Huddle. Liam Santamaria here with you. And I've got, a lot of basketball fans in Australia are keen to hear from the new head coach from the Sydney Kings, Chase Buford. Chase, great to see you, mate. Thanks for jumping on for a chat.
Yeah, Liam, good to catch up again. Happy to talk with you for a bit.
How are you guys managing things right now? Out of quarantine, 2 weeks of quarantine, and then straight into lockdown. How are you and your fiance managing things in Sydney?
Yeah, everybody asks me how lockdown is, but when you're stuck in a hotel room for 2 weeks, anything outside of that feels quite a bit like freedom. So luckily we've got a license or exemption to train with the guys. So I've been able to get in the gym a few days and they've been great. It's been fun to connect with them and teach a little and watch them compete. It's been awesome.
You look like you've landed in a nice little spot. You in a good little spot of Sydney. Can you give us a bit of a look?
Yeah, no, I mean, just the Airbnb here for a few weeks. Got like I was showing Liam a second ago, I'll turn this around. Got a little view of Bondi you can see behind the scaffolding. So a couple of weeks more and we'll find a more permanent spot. But this has been great to settle into.
Outstanding. You mentioned you've been out on the floor a little bit, but what's happening and who are you working with?
Yeah, we've got 7 guys in the gym right now, and it's been good to kind of just get to know them a little bit, learn a bit about their games and their personalities, their character. And I tell you what, to a man, they've all been so welcoming and just fun and easy to engage with. They've competed their butts off. It's just been a really good first week or so, and I can't wait to get more of the group in and continue on down that path.
There's a lot of excitement about the Kings roster coming into this season. What excites you about the squad you're going to be working with?
Oh man, we got heaps of talent. I think we're going to be deep, obviously at the bigs position as well documented by yourself and a few others, but guards too. We got a ton of players, up and down the board. And the way I like to play, positions don't matter as much as skills. And I think we'll be able to incorporate a lot of these guys' talents, hopefully to better the unit as a whole, I guess, so to speak. And like I said, the guys we've had in the gym have been great. They've grown even just in the few days we've been working on some things, but we got a really talented group 1 through 12 and beyond. So
it's interesting what you said there about positions. You guys are big, but you're also very mobile, very versatile. A lot of guys who have plenty of size about them, but like to operate facing the basket and out on the perimeter. How will those skill sets influence the way you guys play, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that, like you said, facing up and facing the basket from the perimeter and driving hard is the way I want to play. I think playing with a ton of space and giving guys room to go attack the basket, whether that's on drives, rolls, passes, whatever it is. We got a lot of guys really capable of doing that. And like you said, some big athletic bodies that can really put some pressure on the rim, as well as some guards who can really get in the mix and score and create, facilitate for others. So it's going to be hard on me to try to find a way to get everybody on the floor and make everybody happy, which will be tough. But just really excited about the quality and quantity of talent we have in our group.
Jaylen Adams, RJ Hunter, Jarell Martin. We're familiar with Jarell, of course, because he played here last season. 2 new imports, both with NBA experience. I mean, do you guys have the best import trio in the NBL?
I don't want to comment or compare to other groups, but we're really, really excited about the guys we brought in. Obviously, Jaylen is someone I know well and was, runner-up in the MVP voting the year I coached in the G League behind our other point guard, Frank Mason. But it had been hard to split between the two because they were both super talented. But Jaylen's, man, a terrific guard. He can score in bunches, as he's shown at the NBA level and the G League and in college a ton. For us, he was our best perimeter defender. We asked him to go lock up the best player on the other team, best guard on the other team pretty much every night. And we ran a coverage and a scheme defensively that's really tough on the guards. You got to get through screens. We're not allowing you to switch a ton at the time. And he really embraced that and competed, and super excited to have him. RJ is another one I worked with briefly in Chicago. And when we were looking at our roster, I think we identified shooting as an area we needed to bring in with one of our imports. And he brings that in spades. He's obviously going to space the floor wherever he stands. He's going to draw defenders to him. and hopefully, again, kind of create some of that space I was talking about for others to go to work, as well as add in a bunch, of scoring from himself.
Talk about Jaylen Adams there a little bit. That Wisconsin Herd team, you guys were robbed of a G League championship by COVID. 33-10. You were scoring 121 points per game, top 5 in the league in defensive efficiency. Is the style that we saw that team play? That's what Sydney Kings fans can probably expect from the purple and gold this year.
Yeah, I think you'll see a ton of similarities. As you grow up and you get to be around more teams and experience different ways of playing, you get to see what you like and see what you don't like. And it's funny. I worked with Coach Bud in Atlanta when I started my coaching career as an intern, and we played an old Spurs style motion offense with two bigs running the post, and I got to see it evolve to where it is has become, and spacing out the floor and pulling those guys away. And I really fell in love with coaching that style and playing that style. And I think it's really fun to see the way guys can just play all the positions on the floor and be interchangeable and attack in that way. And, playing fast is something I've always believed in. We probably took it to, an extreme some in Wisconsin. And I hope to bring that here as well. I think we have the guys to do it. And defensively, there's a lot of different ways you can get it done, but, competing and busting your tail on defensive end is where it starts. And hopefully we'll have that in our group here.
What's the latest with regards to Dejan Vasiljevic and his recovery from that Achilles injury last season?
He's been working his tail off, probably too much at times. He's so eager to get back. He's done a great job in his rehab and recovery, working as hard as he can. He obviously shows the videos and stuff in quarantine with him continuing to work. He's a worker from everything I hear. We talk a little bit in text, and I've yet to meet him face to face, but everybody says how hard he works. And I know from conversations I've had with him, he's breaking his back to get back as soon as he can.
There's a lot of high profile personalities in that Sydney organization from an ownership and executive level. Paul Smith, the owner, of course, Andrew Bogut, minority owner, Chris Pongras, the CEO, and also Luke Longley. How have you enjoyed getting to know those guys a little bit more? And also, you said when you first signed on with the Kings that their vision for the club kind of sung to you a little bit. What was it about their vision that you bought into?
Yeah, to the first part of your question, their personalities are just so fun to be around. Obviously they aren't afraid of controversy and speaking their mind, which I can relate with, and I appreciate a ton. But they've been so welcoming to me and put me in great positions to do well already, and will continue to do so, I have no doubt. But I think the vision, one big thing was Paul, when I talked to him about potentially taking the job, was he didn't want me here leaving in a year. Obviously they love Will and all he did, but they felt like they'd grown, and losing Will, I think, hurt their vision of program. And I think we want to grow the game of basketball in Sydney, and I think they're committed to doing that through youth programs, through hopefully building a new facility possibly down the line, and just doing a lot of things to help the community become the hoops capital of Australia, and grow a fan base in a young, grassroots type style organization here in Sydney, where we can hopefully help some kids develop and grow the game again as much as we can here in Sydney.
We were talking a little bit before about parts of your basketball journey thus far, coaching journey, working with Coach Bud, your time at Wisconsin. Let's go back like way further than that. What was it like growing up in and around that San Antonio Spurs organization?
Yeah, you're really lucky in this business when people move a lot in this business, and I was really fortunate enough to be able to set some roots down and grow up in a city. But to grow up around an environment, a culture like the Spurs have, it's hard not to have it rub off on you. You learn from it because they've done such a good job for 20 plus years now. It just maintaining excellence, and obviously they're trying to find their foot in the next chapter as some of their stars have gone away. But I think they still have Pop there, who understands what it takes to build an organization and a culture the right way, and do it from the ground up, so to speak. I don't think they've been ones who have chased success in the short term as much as they valued their organizational beliefs and the way they develop people and players. And it's also about taking care of people the right way. And I think that's something that they do well and doesn't always happen in the NBA. I think we're also chasing the immediate success in a lot of areas of life, but that's something that they really care about. And it's not just fluff. They mean it and they walk the walk, so to speak. And, it's something that I've been able to experience in some other cultures where I've been, KU and with Coach Bud here in Milwaukee, or back then it was great too. But the Spurs probably do it at the best level I've ever seen.
You talked about Pop there, but your dad is an absolute legend of the game. And in that regard, in terms of building a culture and building an organization, I mean, did he teach you the game? A teenage Chase Buford at the dinner table, were you guys talking hoops?
Yeah, we talked a lot of things. He was on the road a ton too, but he was always really invested in myself and my sports teams and my teammates. He did a bunch to help us give every opportunity a chance to grow and win the game. Yeah, I mean, obviously I have a lot of respect for what he's been able to do over the years, and I think he's pretty great. But he's passionate about helping people. And, I've obviously been a big benefactor of that, but to see how many GMs and assistant GMs around the league have come up, as interns. Sam Presti used to babysit me. When he came through, he had to earn his stripes and coach me. And obviously Sam's well past that now, as probably the current reigning, lead executive in many people's eyes. But, it goes down the list. It's not just Sam, but Del Demps, on and on and on. I could name a million people who've come through his deal. And just like Pop said, coaches around the league, he's done that as well. It's been fun to see.
Another thing that you've got in common with him is your time at Kansas. He was an assistant coach for that famous 1988 Danny Manning-led championship team. We were freshmen in 2008 at Kansas, that championship-winning team with Mario Chalmers. Under Bill Self, famous, highly regarded coach in the States. What did you learn from Coach Self that has helped kind of frame you as a head coach?
I think anybody who's been around Coach Self or got to know him knows how just a people person he is. He'll walk into any room and own it like that, and has the confidence and swagger and humor to go along with it. But his man management style, I think, really made an impression on me. I think no matter what anyone's role is, whether they were happy with their role or not, they believed genuinely that Bill cared about them and wanted, the best for them. And it allowed him to coach people really hard when they knew that they had the relationship and the trust built up and the care from him. He's a really hard coach, and he practices hard, and he holds people accountable to a high standard. But it starts with the relationships and the trust and the man management. And I think that, as much as anything, has helped him succeed and get to where he has as a coach.
How about a couple of others? What have you learned from Coach Bud, from Giannis, from those people within the Bucks organization over the last couple of years that have influenced you?
I think the word that comes to mind with both those guys is just consistency. Their character doesn't change. Who they are doesn't change, whether we've won, whether we've lost, whether you're down 0-2 in the finals or whatever it is. They just continue to stay focused on the task at hand. I mean, Giannis comes to work every day with a purpose. He doesn't just show up. He comes to get things done, and he's efficient with his work, and he cares a lot about other things. I'm sure he'd be the first to tell you, once he leaves the gym, he ain't thinking basketball. That's just not who he is. But when he comes in the gym, he works, and you can see it in how much he's grown. Obviously, his physical and natural gifts are special, but the way he's molded his game to fit those gifts and grow in himself is impressive. And, Bud's the same way. He doesn't get too high, get too low. He doesn't change a bunch schematically team to team. We're going to be great in who we are and lean on that a lot, as much as anything.
There's a couple of kind of statistical or historical things that are kind of tipped against you this year in terms of potentially winning the title. Traditionally, guys don't come from the States, immediately take over a team and win the championship in the NBL. It doesn't really happen. Will Weaver came very, very close to it a couple of seasons ago. It's usually Australian coaches or people that have been here for a long time. Also, you're one of the youngest head coaches the league's seen in a really long time. I mean, I think 1996, a guy by the name of Dave Ingham coaching the Bullets was 30. So maybe for the last 25 years, you're the youngest head coach in the league. What they just kind of challenges, numbers, those kinds of statistical things are relevant to you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't focus too much on things like that. I tell you what, being around these young guys, I feel a lot older than I am sometimes. They make you feel old, but no, I mean, I think I've been blessed to have a ton of different experiences around the game of basketball and learned a ton from a young age. But I'm just, I believe in a way of playing, and I've seen it be successful at different levels, and I think I can bring some of that here. And I think more than anything, what will determine the success of our team is our players and how good we are and how good we compete, and our staff and all that. It'll be the collective of the group. It won't be, my heritage from a country or not, or how old I am.
You talked before about the vision of building something there in Sydney and being in there for the long haul. You've signed a multi-year deal with the Kings, but what are your kind of longer term coaching goals?
I'm just thrilled to be a head coach. I think I got a taste of it a couple of years ago, and it was the most fun I've ever had. I had a great group of guys, and they bought in and they competed, and we had a blast up until COVID shortened the season. But I don't think I want to be anywhere else in the short or long term other than doing that. So wherever that leaves me, as long as I can do that, that's what my goal is to do.
Awesome, man. You talked about that COVID impacted season in the G League. I mean, you guys are going to have to do some jumping around this season. A number of teams are going to need to do that. Have you guys discussed that as a group already, or is there just an understanding that that's how it's going to be?
Yeah, I think, it's obviously you got to talk about it a little bit. Everybody knows the world we're living in. But I think more than anything, it's just being adaptable, being prepared to take whatever comes at you. And, hopefully vaccination rates continue to rise and some of these restrictions will be lifted. But whatever happens, we just got to be ready and ready to work and ready to go out and compete and do what we need to do, whether that's, hopefully in Kudos Bank Arena and around the country. But, we're ready to pivot and to do whatever we need to do to be the best team we can be.
Well, Kings fans are excited about that. We're all excited to have you here and excited about the roster that you guys have put together, and can't wait to see it in action. So great to chat with you, and best of luck for the season ahead.
Thanks, Liam. I appreciate you having me on.
Awesome, mate. Cheers.
Cheers.